Today, we're going to talk to Dr. Norm Shealy. Dr. Norm Shealy is way ahead of his time and has led the way on natural healing, especially anxiety, depression, and all the things that our body is telling us that's not right, but yet we take a medication to numb the voice in our body. So I want to encourage you to take lots of notes today, because we're going to fasten our seatbelt and learn and grow together. When's the music going to start, Brian? Let me see. Time for the theme song. In 15 seconds. Man, I was off by 15 seconds. By the way, Dr. Shealy, when you hear that music, it's time to dance. Good? Oh, you're dancing already. Okay. You're dancing.
Lillian McDermott.
There we go. It's time to dance. It's Friday and it's time to dance. Here we go. Now you can dance. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. You're not dancing. You're just giving me a head bop. Let's see how this, here we go. 26-year-old moves. Oh, you're going to do the swim. There we go. I'll calm down. Say a little prayer. Right here waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, Lillian McDermott Radio Show, here's what this show is about. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today, you may have some things that you have questions about. So as I always say to you, you better put me in your speed dial or your favorites. Put this number down, because you may have some questions for our guest today. And that number is 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. You could either leave a message or text. But here's the thing that we're going to talk about today. And I've been wanting to have this wonderful man on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show because he is an expert. He's probably the leading expert on this topic, and you get to hear him for free. Isn't that wonderful? So we have so many technical advances. We can send people to the moon. I live in Cape Canaveral in Florida, and I have seen a rocket go up in the air and come back and land right on a target. We can do so many things. But why are people still sick, anxious, depressed? Even people who have experienced sadness in their lives, just sadness, are they're given antidepressants. What's that all about? What happened to dealing with whatever we needed to deal with? Well, there's another way. If you're feeling depression, if you're feeling anxiety, that's your body telling you that there's something going on. Listen, take a pulse, figure out what is going on. But don't listen to me. Listen to Dr. Norm Shealy, MD, PhD, and he will share how we can heal fatigue, anxiety, depression naturally. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Dr. Norm Shealy is here to do just that. Welcome, Dr. Shealy, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Wonderful to be with you, Lillian.
Well, it is my pleasure. Share a little bit about your background, Dr. Shealy, and what led you to this place where you are passionate about healing naturally.
At age 4, I announced to my family I'm going to be a physician. Now, I didn't even know what that was probably. They were not in the family. At age 16, I'm going off to college a couple of years early because I got through high school early. And I decided I'm going to be a neurosurgeon because I
Wow.
wanted to understand the brain and the mind. And I didn't realize that neurosurgeons love the physical brain, if you will, but they're not interested so much in the mind. But in my residency,
Hmm.
my life purpose became much more real. In those days, we were treating chronic pain by cutting the front half of the spinal cord with a razor blade. A razor blade. At
Mm,
least it was sterile.
yeah.
And I thought that was barbarian. So I spent 3 years after my residency doing research on pain physiology and discovered that we could control pain with counter stimulation, you will, vibration, electricity. And I introduced both TENS, transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, and spinal cord stimulation, which are used all over the world today.
Hmm.
But I was seeing 400 people a year who had failed conventional medicine. And they were all on Percodan and Valium of all things. And they were so damaged, I couldn't even think about stimulating the spinal cord.
Hmm.
So in 1971, I really came out of the box and started the first real holistic pain clinic in the world. And I decided we would start with behavior modification,
Hmm.
teaching people. We had to stay in the hospital for 1 month and teaching them how to live and act without pain. And interestingly, at the end of the first year, we had treated 400 people. And we had a 75% success rate.
Wow. So let me ask you, let me stop that and take a snapshot of this 75% success rate, doing it naturally with behavior modification, and in 1 month doing that natural 75% success rate. What is a pill's success rate is? Do you know that?
If you're lucky, they're 10% successful.
Okay. I just wanted to give a snapshot of that. Keep going.
There is no way that I would recommend an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety drug. I think in fact, there's several articles that show that if all the negative studies had been, quote, allowed to be published, the net result would be zero. But the
Wow.
pharmacomafia prevents the publication if they have a negative result.
Pharmacomafia, I love it. And so we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Norm Shealy when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Pharmacomafia, I love that. Pharmacomafia. You know what? If you had a job, if you had a business where keeping people sick would make you money, you'd have to figure out a way to make them believe that this pill has the power to heal you. But the reality is, our bodies were made perfectly to heal.
The important thing is there is no drug that does not have what they call side effects. Those side effects are complications. They're not really side effects. They are major effects. Just this past week, I saw a woman who'd seen 15 physicians for severe dizziness. They couldn't find anything wrong. The first thing I did was look at the side effect of the only drug she was on, an antihypertensive drug. Guess what the number one side effect is? Dizziness.
Yes.
No other physician thought to say, it's the stupid drug you're taking.
Oh my gosh, nobody stopped to look at that. You know, it's interesting. I say this, my registered service mark, Dr. Shealy, is you can take a pill or you can take responsibility. And it's not that I'm against the pill, it's that I'm for doing everything we can to, give the body what it needs. Nobody is antidepressant pill deficient. What is causing the sadness? And I don't know if you know Dr. Lee Cowden.
Oh, of course. Good friend.
Yeah. So Dr. Lee Cowden said, if people could figure out the spiritual aspect of why they're sick, or the emotional aspect why they're sick, it would cost very little to fix their body. Isn't that
Exactly.
a great concept?
No, Lee and I are on the same boat.
Yeah, absolutely. But people just don't want to do the emotional work.
It-
That's I
It's
don't get it.
true. And yet, to me, it's fun to do the emotional work. I mean,
let's start with there. Let's start with there when we go back, how fun it could be to dig in and learn. Okay, I like that. It's fun. So when I started doing radio, here we go. It's time to dance, Dr. Shealy. Oh, this is good. We've got a 20-second limit.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail.
I love it. I love it. First thing in the morning. What time is it over there?
959.
sorry?
What time is it over there?
Oh, it's 7:15 in the morning.
Oh, welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where our conversations on the air are just as fun off the air as on the air. So I want to encourage you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com, become a subscriber, not only to the website, but to also my YouTube channel, because you get to hear the doctors up close and personal, and some of the information that we share off the air, we just don't have time to talk about on the air. So most of the information off the air is different. So I want to encourage you to become a subscriber. I received a text not too long ago and go, don't tease me this way. I want to hear everything. So good. Go to whenyounneedafriend.com and become a subscriber, not only to my page, but also to my YouTube video. Okay, so while we're off the air, we were talking about pain and depression and anxiety. And I had mentioned to Dr. Shealy that Dr. Lee Cowden, who has been on our show, had mentioned that if we just deal with the spiritual and emotional component of the disease or the symptom, then healing the body is cheap. But if we ignore the emotional and the spiritual side, then healing the body is truly expensive, because it's a mind, body, spirit. So Dr. Shealy, you said, but this is the fun part of getting better. So let's talk about this fun that everybody wants to avoid and do not give the importance that it deserves.
All emotional problems are the result of fear. And most of the time that fear is loss of love, abandonment by someone. And I mean, that's by far the most common thing. And it usually started in childhood. And it may or may not have been a major thing. As a matter of fact, however, 75% of the women that I see with chronic problems have had significant abuse, one kind or another, as children. And with the men, it wasn't so often sexual abuse, but it was physical and emotional abuse. Mm-hmm. And so what I assist people in doing is releasing that. My final thing is release into the hands of God. Mm. And my favorite too is often just doing a past life. And that past life can be all the way back to birth, or it can be to a previous incarnation. Mm-hmm. And I had a woman come in just for that this week. And, it took us an hour and a half, and she was able to get rid of 55 years of torture in 1.5 hours. Wow.
Has she tried anything before?
Oh, well, she tried drugs and drugs and drugs and regular psychological counseling, which often is a waste of time. So, yeah, she had tried, but she needed this particular experience to release her father into the hands of God.
Okay, so I'm curious, maybe we can talk about how that release is done off the air, because I really want to dive into this release, because it's so important. You said this is fun. Why do you call it fun when most people say it's painful?
Well, because when you realize, I can do this, I'm done with it. Woo-hoo! Really, the important thing is not to allow some blank, blank, blank to control your life. You are in charge. And, the interesting thing is, it requires a certain degree of a wonderful little word called conscientiousness. Conscientiousness is organized and responsible. And it starts with taking care of yourself. In my opinion, your number one job in life is to take care of yourself so that you can do what you came to do, which is to help other people.
Sure.
If you don't take care of yourself, you don't have it to give to other people.
Sure.
And that requires 5 essential personal habits.
Okay. What are those habits?
Normal weight, a body mass index, 18 to 24. Every 5 pounds you have over that takes 1 year or more off your life. It's that simple.
Interesting. Today, when I went walking at the gym, I added 10-pound weights to my hands, and I was sweating. I don't sweat. Just those 10 pounds, like in my hands, I was just moving them and walking what I normally walk. And I'm like, wow, this is hard. And I can imagine 50, 60, 70 pounds.
Yeah, when you get to 40 pounds over your ideal weight, that's a body mass index of 30.
Mm-hmm.
And that shortens your life equal to smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Wow. Okay, so what would be number 2?
No smoking. 22% of adults still smoke. Number 3.
Let's talk about what smoking does to the body in a Dr. Norm Shealy way. So what can you say to us that for someone who is out there about to go out to smoke, what do you say to them?
Well, enjoy your poison because every puff you take is poison coming in to your lungs and your heart and every organ in your body, including your brain. And it prevents you from making sensible decisions. I mean, I've seen thousands of people whose health can improve almost instantly just by giving up smoking. Now, if they don't have the willpower to do that, by the way, there's a wonderful little technique. I can inject a tiny bit of vitamin B12 in these 2 spots and these 2 spots.
Okay, so let's, because people can't hear, they can't see you. So it's right by your nostrils, vitamin B.
Right in where the crease is.
Okay, right by the nose where your crease is. They're like your marionette lines.
And right where the cartilage comes down, it's called the 0 point in the ear.
In the ear, the 0 point in the ear. And that's vitamin B12?
Yeah, just 1/10 of a cc intradermally. Raise a little wheel. That stops the urge to smoke in 60% of people with doing nothing else.
Just one time?
Yep.
One shot?
Yep. Well, 4 shots.
Well, yeah. Well, you get stabbed 4 times, but one visit.
One visit, yes.
Is anybody else doing this, Dr. Shealy?
I don't know. I learned it from an article in France 40 years ago.
Wow. Let me digest that for a second, because, I was born, when I was born at 9 months old, I had my first asthma hospitalization. Wow. 9 months of age. I now take vitamin C. I am drug free. I take vitamin C. I take vitamin D, and I eat a really clean diet. But here's the thing. No one, because I was born this way, I don't understand smoking. I really don't understand it because of my situation with my lungs. And this is the only thing I can say, that this is why I can't get past it, is because when there is a fire in a building, people run out. They don't go inside to inhale the smoke, right? So it just doesn't make sense. Why would we constantly run into a smoky building? Why don't we deal with whatever it is that's causing us to numb? So does that make sense to you?
Oh, of course. Now, what's missing in people who get hooked into that kind of thing is what I call in the zone.
Okay.
Gamma brain activity. The brain electrically has certain frequencies. And the ideal frequency for feeling woohoo is 40 cycles per second.
Okay.
People with every disease, especially addiction to smoking or narcotics, etc., are very low in gamma.
Okay.
And so the best way to get it is there's a device that we created. You know, I'm an electrical junkie.
Yeah.
And so we've created a device which puts this balancing of the chakras in electrically. The first chakra, the contact with the earth, is the same as earth frequencies, 7.83 cycles per second. As you go up, the physical frequency of the seventh chakra is 7 times 7.83.
Okay.
And we all have a little variation, plus or minus 2.
Okay.
But by sweeping from 7.83 to 58.83 every 10 minutes, it puts the brain into this gamma frequency, which is, well, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life.
Okay. So we've heard of, so this is not GABA, this is gamma.
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 And it is an electrical frequency that is totally safe. The only contraindication would be pregnancy or a pacemaker.
Okay.
But other than that, it can do wonderful things. And it treats depression, it treats anxiety, which are very severe, and it treats narcotic addiction.
And this is something you put on your body?
Yes. You put on a baseball cap.
He's showing me right now a baseball cap. Yeah.
And a halo.
And a halo. And that halo. And how long do you keep that on?
A minimum of an hour.
An hour. So you do that an hour a day?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll talk about that off the air. So that is for the no smoking. What would be number 3?
Eating a minimum of 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I start the day with 7 or 8 servings.
Yeah, I know. I just had my juice, my smoothie that has a lot of stuff.
But the average American is 2.2. And remember, ketchup and French fries are not vegetables.
Okay, so we in the Lillian McDermott radio show, we talk about a whole food plant-based diet.
Exactly.
And specifically, Dr. Joel Furman, who's a regular on my show, is a nutritarian. So I focus on a holistic nutritarian, whole food plant-based. That's what I promote on the show. But I understand that not everybody is there. So if we increase our vegetables and fruit, you're saying that this is a great way to help alleviate the body.
Oh, it gets rid of all kinds of allergies. It helps the immune system, and it gives you energy.
Mm-hmm. And you said you started, what did you eat for breakfast this morning?
Well, I have a slush, which has 50 grams of protein, whey protein, and a few other things, and then dried powder that is mostly, it gives me 6,000 ORACs as the antioxidants, and then I use some apple juice as the foundation. So and then I use a tablespoon of dried spinach, and it's a slush, but it keeps me perfectly satisfied until at least noon or later.
Oh, really? Really? So at the age of 86?
Well, 85 and a half.
85 and a half. You are still cooking with gas, and you are making your little slushy in the morning and living the life. You said you feel like you're 26 years old. So there's got to be something. For those of you who are listening, please take lots of notes, because Dr. Norm Shealy is in the house. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Shealy when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. So I think this is very interesting. So this halo that you have on your head, you put it on for an hour a day.
Yep.
And it helps with depression. So you don't do it always with the ball cap.
Well, it's a little more convenient for most people, with the cap, and that's why we made the cap, just to be sure.
And so, what is that called?
This is called the Shealy Soren Chakra Sweep Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Device, or PEMF.
Oh, so that's a PEMF.
This is a pimp, the pimp that we have found. You know, I bought an $18,000 commercial one 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I sold it for $10,000 to get rid of it. It was it was just crummy.
Yeah.
That's why I developed my own.
So have you tested it for EMFs?
Oh yes,
And so
this is good for you.
how much is that little device?
$895.
$895.
Now,
So I
with
have
my-
a QRS. I have a pulse electromagnetic frequency. For those of you who don't know about pulse electromagnetic frequency, that's what I use I lay on it. I love charging my batteries on a PEMF machine. And I also walk the beach, so I've get that from 7.83 all the way up to my head. And so you're using an hour on the QRS machine. And by the way, if anybody's interested, you can reach out to whenyounneedafriend.com, and I'll be more than happy to tell you about the machine that I use. But with that machine, you say an hour. Is it because the pulse is more gentler, or what is it?
Well, you could use it 24 hours a day safely. It won't harm you. In fact, I often tell people just put it under your mattress and sleep with it all night.
Wow.
Now, the interesting thing about it is if you measure the output of this device, even though it's on my head, I'm getting at my feet probably 60% as much as I get at my head. So anywhere you put it on the body, the whole body's getting it.
Uh-huh. That's pretty cool. And you wear it like an hour a day?
Well, I often sit here at my computer, just put it on for fun.
Yeah.
I don't need it in a sense. But for instance, I had one woman whose blood pressure was like 180 over 110. In a half hour, her blood pressure was 120 over 70. Just
Wow.
having it in her head.
Well, you need to come up with a shorter name for that thing.
Well, I just call it the chakra pimp.
Oh, it sounds like you're saying the chakra pimp.
I know, yeah. Chakra PMF.
Not the PIM, not the PIMP.
No,
Hemp.
no.
Pulse electromagnetic frequency. So
Yeah.
that helps. That's pretty interesting because I am a true believer in frequency. I also use the microcurrent. I was in a car accident, and because of being hit from behind, I was told that I had 4 herniated discs from C4 through C7, and I came home and I used my Avasia and went to the doctor the next day, and yes, I had concussion-like symptoms, and but I kept working with it, and I haven't even taken a Tylenol or a pain pill because I truly believe I'm a born-again frequency believer.
Hey, join the club.
Yeah, I am. I really am. And for those of you who have questions about it, you can reach out to me at whenyounneedafriend.com. I truly believe that this should be the medicine of the future. That's what I believe.
Lillian, let me tell you the most remarkable experience we're having with it.
Okay, so real quick, because I've got maybe 15 seconds. You got a what?
Narcotic addiction.
Okay.
We're controlling it with this device.
Really? How many patients do you have in the trial?
Only 12 at this point, but the results are outstanding.
So are you going to be able to report on it when you're done?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Another 2 months and I'll put it out publicly.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Narcotic addictions. And what is the result so far?
You can text Lillian
You're seeing what percentage?
Just phenomenal. We're already getting calls from state prisons who've heard about it, and they
Here we
want
go. Here we go. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal to learn from the person that's in front of me. And today, our teacher is Dr. Norm Shealy. You can find Dr. Shealy at normshealy.com or shealywellness.com. And that's S as in Sam, H as in hero, E as in elephant, A as in apple, L as in Lillian, Y. That's Shealy. And so for those of you who want to learn more about pulse electromagnetic frequency, or microcurrent frequency. I am a firm believer in this. You can feel free to call me at 407-373-5959 or reach out to me at whenyouneedafriend.com, because that is, I'm telling you, I am a born again believer in these frequencies. And the work that Dr. Norm Shealy is doing with these frequencies is remarkable as well. And I'm going to do more shows on this and share a little bit more about my journey after the car accident last year and how I've been able to heal 4 herniated discs without medication and using these frequencies. So if you're in pain and you want more information, feel free to call me, 407-373-5959. Before I go on, I want to tell you that I have started, along with the Jack's Vegan Couple, Heal Tribe, Healthy Eating and Living Tribe. So next week, we are going to go to my website to find the dates. I'm going to tell you the dates off the air because I don't want to stamp this. I don't want to date stamp it so you can hear it over and over again in the future. So we're doing our Healthy Eating and Living Tribe, and we're going to come together and we're going to learn how to make veggie sushi. So for those of you who love to eat out because you think you can't make sushi, we're going to learn together. We're going to go to Leaf and Bean, and we are going to learn how to make this wonderful treat for ourselves with these wonderful vegetables that Dr. Norm Shealy says we need, was 5 to 6 servings a day. We're going to get them all in that night. So I want to encourage you to learn more. Go to our Facebook page. It's called Healthy Eating and Living. That's on Facebook. Heal Tribe. That's the Heal Tribe, the Healthy Eating and Living Tribe. And we have one in the First Coast, and we have one on the Space Coast. So with that in mind, I want you to know that this is where we learn how to heal together. This is where we talk about a mind, body, spirit approach to healing. It's not about just the body. We ignore the mind and the spirit. So important, so crucial. So if you're feeling or experiencing depression, anxiety, if you're feeling fatigue, chances are that's your body telling you that there's something else. So I want to encourage you to take out your soul shovel and dig, dig, dig until there's only truth. And where can we find this truth? We go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Please become a subscriber. If you haven't done so, do it now. While you're at whenyouneedafriend.com, I encourage you to click on to the different aspects of where you can stay connected with me. So you can subscribe on my page. You can subscribe there's a little button that'll lead you to YouTube, and that's where we have the off-the-air conversations. This is where we date stamp. This is where we do all those things. And so we click onto YouTube, become a subscriber, and when you do that, all the shows get sent to your email, whatever, your phones, your tablets. Then go on to the other buttons, which is my social media. Like me. Do this now, because if you say you're going to do it later, you're not going to do it. Just do it now. Pull over if you're driving. Do it now, because we lie to ourselves all the time. Yeah, I'll do it later. And if you haven't done it and you've been listening to the show, that's evidence. But if you have done it, thank you. Tell everybody to do it as well. So I want us to grow together. This has been my journey, and I hope that you've enjoyed going on this journey with me. This is a journey of learning, of growth, of experience, and fun adventures, even if you think at the time that it's difficult. I promise you, you'll do the Dr. Shealy, woohoo, because it is a blessing to deal with whatever it is that the body wants you to deal with. I want to encourage you to go to On Demand, iTunes, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify. There's so many different ways to be connected. And last but not least, you can always call me. This is my cell phone number, guys. 407-373-5959. I don't answer the phone when you call because I'm doing the show. I can't say, excuse me, Dr. Shealy, I'm on the phone right now. Let me take this call. So I will not answer the phone, but I can read a text, 407-373-5959. If you have any questions about what Dr. Shealy is talking about, text me, 407-373-5959, or you can call. Now, before we went on the break, Dr. Shealy, we talked about the consciousness in our body. That in order to be well, we need to have a conscious body. We need to be responsible, which is a huge word on my show. So the first one you said was normal weight between a body mass index of 18 and 24, no smoking, eating at least a minimum of 5 to 6 vegetables and fruit servings a day. So what is number 4?
Movement, exercise.
Movement, yes.
I do 90 minutes every morning because I like it. I mean, I am a hyperactive child growing up. I love.
You mean they didn't numb you up? Okay. They couldn't.
So, if you don't do 30 minutes 5 days a week, you're falling apart.
40 minutes, 5 days a week.
30 minutes minimum, 5 days a week. That's like breathing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could survive on 30 minutes. I can get by occasionally with an hour, but I love movement. And I mean, it gives you energy.
Now, at 85 and a quarter, what is your movement? Well, I know this sounded so much better in my head. I'm not talking about a bowel movement. I'm talking about your movement. What does your movement look like?
Have you ever heard of Charles Atlas? Charles Atlas created, when I was 12 years old, I started the Charles Atlas program, Dynamic Tension. Now, the first 40 minutes, I'm doing every conceivable movement I can with pressure, with the resistance.
Oh, yeah.
So,
isometrics. We call it isometrics, right?
Right. And I can put my heel on my forehead.
That's because you're Norm Shealy. So you can put your foot on your forehead?
Easy.
Okay, we're gonna have to do that during the break because I'm gonna try it too.
And then I do a treadmill, and I do an exercise bike that has 50 pounds of weight on it. So I'm moving every muscle in my body except my face with 50 pounds of resistance. Mm-hmm. And I do 200 sit-ups.
Nice.
And then I do backups on a Roman chair, like that. Mm-hmm. And then I use a vibe machine. The machine itself vibrates, a vibe plate. And that's a wonderful, for people who don't like to move, that's an excellent way. But that's the end of my movement exercises.
So you're like moving and circulating your blood everywhere.
Exactly.
So no stagnation, because that's the one thing that people don't understand, the importance of movement, because the lymphatic system does not know how to get rid of it unless we are the 3 Ps. What is it? Perspiration, poop, and pee. Right? That's how the lymphatic gets rid of the toxins in our body.
Right, of course.
You had to think about those 3 Ps.
Well, I don't know what the 2 words you're thinking about are.
I said perspiration.
Yeah.
Pooping.
Oh, that's normal. That's it's essential,
And peeing.
I got it. Okay, you got it. You got to get rid of stuff. Got to get rid of water, and you got to get rid of toxins.
This is Lily's world. Welcome to Lily's world. This is how I think. I think in acronyms. I think in okay, I know I want to remember things, so I come up with little things like that. The 3 Ps.
Got it. Wonderful.
So it's very important to this movement so that we can get rid of our toxins. Exactly.
And then, of course, number 5 is sleeping 7 or 8 hours every night.
What happens when we get less, Dr. Shealy?
Well, first of all, if you get 6 or less hours of sleep a night, you function at the level of someone who's slightly drunk. You've had at least
problem? That's like why people think I'm drinking all the time.
Yeah, you've had the equivalent of a minimum of 2 drinks.
Ooh. Without the buzz, just the sleepiness. Not good. Not good. Okay, so then at 7 and 8 hours, everything is much better. The body functions and rests better.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't imagine missing an hour of sleep. It's
Good for you. Good for you. You're my new superhero. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Norm Shealy when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Oh boy, less than 6 hours of sleep.
yeah. Those people have greater automobile accidents. They malfunction, if you will, at work. They make more accidents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You know, I have a story about these biofeedback machines that they put the probes and they put a cap on you, or they put probes on you and they measure your brain function. I had this woman, I was just, I told you I was rear-ended, and I had like 3 days in a row where I was going to bed at 1 a.m. I was at a conference. I know the bewitching hours, 10 and 2, where our organs start kicking in and getting rid of the toxin in our body. And so, so I knew I was pushing myself. And so it was like 2-3 days I was at the IFM conference, and there was this little place where people were lining up and doing this biofeedback. And I decided I was just going to do this. Well, the woman puts the probes on my head, and the first thing she said to me, "Are you depressed?" And I went, "No, I don't. That's not even part of my vocabulary." And so she goes, "Well, something's going on." So then I go and I listen to this thing where I can hear it half the time. That bothered me because I could only hear this is an instruction video and I can only hear half of it. Maybe there was something wrong with my machine, and maybe that's what it is. But when she realized that I was not a doctor and a radio show host, and she didn't see the benefit of me, looking at her product, maybe I can promote it or whatever. So somebody else was coming in, and so she kind of like dismissed me kind of quickly. But before she dismissed me and took the probes off, she looked at my results and she said, "You have very little brain function."
Wow.
Off you go. It's like, off you go. And I'm like, well, I haven't slept really well for the last 2-3 days. I haven't slept long or well. And she said, I said, "What should I do?" And she said, "You need to get my machine." And as I walked away, I thought, wow, that's not a good way to tell somebody they have very little brain function. I mean, I felt like the coward lion in The Wizard of Oz. The scarecrow. If I only had a brain.
Right.
And so I come
Exactly.
back, and all of a sudden it hit me. I did bump my head back when I had this car accident. So I went back to her. I said, I know you're really busy. You just told me that I had very little brain function in my head. Could it be that I was hit in the head when I was in this car accident? And she said, I've seen this kind of results with the NFL. What can you share? Well, how can you enlighten me? Oh, we got 30 seconds. Are we back on? Brian, are we back on? How much time do we have? 30 seconds. So does that make sense?
Of course. Yeah, because a head injury can do that easily. Lack of sleep can do the same thing.
Well, she said no. So, okay.
She's wrong.
I am going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. Let's talk about that. Here we go. This is our last segment, Dr. Shealy.
You can text Lillian
retraining the brain.
Voicemail
Retraining the brain.
407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn from one another. And today's teacher is Dr. Norm Shealy. You can find Dr. Shealy at normshealy.com or shealywellness.com. Telling you, this is where it all began. This is the man who said, I am going to step out of the box and I am not going to use all these drugs that are causing so many side effects. And he figured out a way. Because here's the question that Dr. Joel Fuhrman asked me a while ago, or proposed the question, what if there's not and he just said it out loud. I mean, and I just grabbed it because it just made so much sense. What if there wasn't a pill to fix, or they tell you that's going to fix your diagnosis, which I call your body speaking to you, a symptom. So they call a symptom a diagnosis. What if there wasn't a pill? Well, Dr. Norm Shealy just said that he is hyperactive, and as a child he had, all this hyperactivity. They didn't give him a pill back then because it didn't exist, right? So
You bet.
that's right. But there are pills, and I tell you, I was a part of this pill mill. I believed in it, and I am now at the mountaintop saying, no, let's not. Let's try something else before. And I'm not against pills. I am for doing everything you can. So don't feel shamed if you are taking pills. Figure out if there's another way. So Dr. Shealy, we talked about normal weight, no smoking, eating at least minimum of 5 to 6 servings of vegetables a day, moving, exercising, important, sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day. Now what? We know this stuff. How do we reprogram ourselves so that we can start living the life that we want?
By retraining your brain.
Okay, how do we do that?
You remember? Can you remember when you learned to tie your shoes, for instance?
Yes.
I mean, I remember that so well. And to me, it took me about a week to learn to do it without trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So since the early 70s, I have worked on something I call biogenics. I went back in 74 to get a PhD in psychology, so I really would understand the mind and the brain better.
Yeah.
And I created a series of 40 different exercises that can help you retrain the brain. And the first one is to learn to control stress.
Okay.
So stress is, emotional, psychological, sometimes chemical, other things, but most stress is created right here with your thinking.
Sure.
And it starts with something called autogenic training, for which there are 22,000 scientific references.
Mm.
But that just puts you into low gear or balance, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But then you learn to pay attention to your body, listen to the body, get the sensory feedback that the body is telling you, help, help, help. And there are 3 major techniques, for instance, for controlling pain. You can use the American Indian technique of breathing like a vacuum cleaner and taking the pain out.
Okay, how does that sound? How does it sound?
Well, let's say you've got pain in your left thumb.
Uh-huh.
With your breathing, imagine you're collecting that and blowing it away. A gentle, loving vacuum cleaner, cleaning it away.
So you're like sucking it in?
Yes.
And then putting it out.
Blowing it away.
Blowing it out. Okay. I just sucked my microphone in my mouth, but that's okay.
And the second way is the East Indian technique of breathing through the skin. Now, if you will imagine breathing through the skin of your right hand for 20 minutes, your hand will become numb. I mean, totally numb. It doesn't take you more than a couple of hours to learn to do this.
So imagine that my right hand is breathing.
Yeah, the air is coming into the center and out. It's like a bellows, in and out.
Okay.
And 20 minutes will make it numb. I used that in 1976 when I had the only sinus infection I've ever had in my life after I went to the Philippines. And I said to the I had to have surgery through my nose right up to the base of the skull.
Mm.
And I said, give me 20 minutes and I'll be ready. I made my nose numb and I was totally awake for the procedure. That's how good it can be.
Wow. Do you have classes? Do you teach this on your website?
Yes, we do. We call it Optimal Health.
Okay.
And we have a whole, 6 or 8 hours of training in this.
Okay.
Now, then you can remember that you are an electrical being. Everything in your body is electricity.
Sure.
Electricity creates magnetism. So you start at your feet and imagine a 1-inch envelope capsule of electromagnetic energy and allow it to come up all the way to the top of your head. Then you go back and imagine a 12-inch electromagnetic energy field around your entire body. And when you get to that point, your body is anesthetic. It feels as if it's floating in space or absent, but your brain and mind are perfectly alert. So these are 3 techniques specifically for pain control. Then we have various exercises for emotional balance. You got to get rid of the anger, guilt, anxiety, depression that are creating problems.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a bunch of emotional balancing exercises, like, my favorite is the Zen exercise, where
I thought you said Xanax, Xanax exercise. No Xanax here, right?
Right. So we
Zen.
Yeah, we imagine. I have you relive the most painful event of life.
Okay.
And then collect it and release it. The second most painful, the third most painful, and then you scream pain, pain, pain. And then you say, how much energy am I wasting every day reliving past trauma?
Yeah.
And then you recall the most loving, happy experience of life and fill your body with love and recognize at the end of that, at my innermost self, I am magnificent, wise, and loving. And now, when you've gotten to that stage, you're ready for spiritual attunement. You're getting in touch with the real you, the soul. And then we have you do the first spiritual exercise is to see yourself standing at the base of a mountain, climb the mountain. When you get to the top of the mountain, there you meet your soul and you have a conversation.
So you walk people through this, or this is something you teach people to learn how to do on their own?
Well, we do a guided imagery. I've made what I call biogenics exercises that are now MP3s on all of these techniques.
Very good. So we can go to ShealyWellness.com and learn how to do this for ourselves.
Exactly.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I think that many of us, Dr. Shealy, believe that once you have a pill, you always have the pill. Once you have a diagnosis, you always have a diagnosis. What do you say to people that believe that they're stuck with their body the way it is today?
Well, I say, were you this way when you were 1-year-old and 2-year-old? Your body has changed already, hasn't it? A lot. Mm-hmm. And if it could change when you were 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, you can change now at 90 years of age. I don't think that there's a time when you stop training your brain and your body. So as long as you are willing to put a little time into that instead of moaning and groaning, I think you can bring everything under control. One of my favorites is high blood pressure. I can help people control blood pressure 99.9% of the time.
No drug can do that, but go ahead.
That's right. Without drugs. It's very simple. And it's totally safe. And it gives you energy.
What is it? What is it? We got a minute.
Number 1 is Nitro Extreme. It's extract of noni. But you can take taurine, 6,000 milligrams of taurine, Dr. Shealy's Essentials, Dr. Shealy's Youth Formula. That will lower blood pressure in 90% of people just doing that.
And Dr. Shealy, I just want to say thank you. We're going to continue this conversation off the air. You'll give us all this information so that you can go to YouTube, whenyouneedafriend.com. Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for loving us through health. And thank you for being such a wonderful example to all of us.
Wonderful to be with you.
And to you, what can I say? It's time to take your health back. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. That was the best ever. I knew it. That was good. And you remember too. Some people go, you know what? You have shown me that you can be young at any age. You have been a wonderful teacher. Dr. Shealy, what a great teacher you are. So real quick, because I have to record my promos like right after this, 99%. So you said nitro?
Extreme. NITROXTREME.
Okay. And then you said Tyrene?
Taurine, TAURINE. For most adults, 6,000 milligrams. It's a wonderful sedative for irritated nerves.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Shealy's Essentials, which is 50 milligrams of excellent B-complex multivitamin mineral. And for Dr. Shealy's Youth Formula, which is 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C with 1,000 milligrams of MSM, a little bit of molybdenum, and a little bit of beta-1,3 glucan. But that, now, by the way, that technique will restore your body's DHEA. We didn't get into talking about the most important stress hormone, stress-reducing hormone in the body, which is dehydroepiandrosterone.
And you have that as well. So
Yeah.
I was told that I am vitamin B deficient, B as in boy deficient.
Then you need a minimum of 50 milligrams of B1, B2, B3, B6.
B1,
B2,
2,
B3,
3,
and B6.
6.
Now there are others, but that's the most foundation in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And do you take D3?
Yep, I take D3.
Good.
I do that because someone told me that I needed to get off of D, and I was at 100. And they said, don't take D. I know. I was right there.
Mine's 150.
Yours is 150. That's awesome. Okay, so and you're okay. So they said that I needed to get off of it, that it's gonna be a toxin in my body, and I got off of it, and I was going out on the sun, and I plummeted down to 27.
Yeah,
and
Lillian, they're stupid.
Okay,
you can't fix stupidity.
I know. Okay, so what about B12? What's a good source of B12?
I like methyl B12 because some people have something called a methyl defect, and therefore you might as well take that instead of the cobalamin. But methyl B12, just the sublingual, tiny little pink tablet, just it's absorbed better in the mouth than it is in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take one of those every day.
That's great. So I want to thank you. I'm looking forward to having another conversation with you because we just need to go back to basics. I mean, this is the way that nature intended for us to heal. We weren't intended to take pills, and again, that question that Dr. Furman said, how would you eat if there wasn't a pill for diabetes? How would you eat?
Well, we could spend the whole hour talking about diabetes. I have huge experience with diabetic neuropathy.
Well, I'm sure with the PEMF and the frequencies, you've probably been able to heal some legs.
Oh, and for diabetic neuropathy, the PEMF device is the greatest yet.
Oh, yeah. That and microcurrent.
And yesterday, within 20 minutes, he was beginning to get increased sensation already.
I love those stories. I love hearing about things like this. Dr. Shealy, I could probably talk to you until the cows come home. I don't think I've ever used that expression, but for some reason I'm using it with you. But I could talk to you forever. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I look forward to maybe doing some future shows with you.
Mutual. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
And to you, my listeners and my followers, thank you so much for watching today. I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Best day ever.